welcome back. We're here with another episode of Home for Wayward Guitars. And this is one of the things I do as part of this quest or project or whatever you want to call it, is that I sort of keep an eye out for project guitars that are interesting on some level, but also need help. You know, they need some love and TLC, and I try to bring them back to life. You know, either through doing stuff I know how to do, or I look around and try to figure out how to learn what I need to do to work on the guitar. So it's a win-win for me. You know, I either know how to deal with it and it goes very quickly, or I get to learn a new trick or a new technique for bringing a guitar back to life. And you know, I'm gonna show you two guitars today. The first one is a 12 string, okay, and this is a Taylor. All right, let's see if I can get that on there. Wow, look at that! It's a 150E, which means that it's got the pickup in it. Okay, it's got the pickup and the preamp, and it's 12 string. It's got the spruce top, mahogany, or you know, maybe it's that other form of mahogany, side and back. You know, the neck is mahogany. It's got a rosewood fretboard or blackwood. I don't know. I don't think it's ebony, but bone nut down here. Anyway, this came to me through it was a listing on Facebook Marketplace, and the guy was asking a couple $100, and it needed help. I mean, the neck was like, it was the ski slope, you know. The strings were like half an inch or more off the neck, you know, and had a crack in it, right here. We'll talk about the crack. And I looked it up, 150E. I looked it up, and you know, they weren't the most expensive Taylors to begin with, which is fine. But they had a really good reputation for having good tone. And that's part of my other side of this quest, is that I'm always on the lookout for a good sounding acoustic guitar, like really good sounding. And this one looked promising. I mean, all the reviews said great tone, easy to play, and you know, not a tremendous amount of money, you know, under $1,000, I think, new. So I tracked it down and bought it. The guitar was original owner. He had bought it like 9 years ago and didn't play it very much. And it didn't have a case. And I was like, okay, we'll give it a shot. And because I knew I had the secret weapon. Right, the secret Taylor weapon, which I'm going to give you the secret right now. If you own a Taylor guitar, any kind of Taylor, as far as I can tell, maybe I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, but Taylor has its own proprietary wrench for the truss rod. And now if your neck is looking like a you know, a ski slope, you know, ski bowl, you gotta get in there and you gotta work on the truss rod. You gotta try to bring it back. Now, the only way to do that with a Taylor is to have their special wrench, which, sorry to say, they charge $10 for this thing. And it has a little screwdriver on the end, I guess. It comes in handy somewhere. But the main thing is it has this very special ratchet, you know, or whatever wrench that goes down on the truss rod nut, which is right here, and fits perfectly, and you don't have to muck around with anything else, you know. Now, just as an aside, most guitars, you know, most guitars come with an Allen wrench arrangement for the truss rod. Some of them come with a little, a little stick that you put in a hole and you turn it that way. Those are the ones that are down here usually. But mostly it's Allen wrenches, and so if you own a Taylor and your neck is gone and you don't know what to do and you don't want to spend $300 at the Luthier's, for $10, get the wrench. And I brought this guitar back, and it really sounds great. A little interlude there, you know. Anyway, it's come back. It's in pretty good shape. I brought the action down about as far as I think I'm going to go with it, because I don't really spend a lot of time above the 12th fret on a 12 string. But it's very playable. I did also remove the saddle and sanded down very lightly and carefully the bottom of the saddle. I kind of lowered the saddle in the bridge to bring the strings down a little bit too, and that's just a basic thing. I mean, that's something that you could do on virtually any acoustic guitar. You can lower the action by just pulling the saddle, sanding it, put it flat on a surface, put your sandpaper, use something like 200, 220, something like that, and just start doing this. And don't do it too many times, because if you do it too many times, you're going to have to get a new saddle because it'll be too short. But I generally go about 10 passes. You'll see a little pile of bone dust. If it's plastic dust, then you probably want to think about replacing it with a real bone nut. But anyway, about 10 passes, that's all you need. Put it back in, string it up. I mean, you don't even have to take the strings off. All you have to do basically is loosen them up pretty good. You could pull the pegs. You don't have to take them off the tuners, you just pull them out of the pegs, and then you pull your saddle. And then go on YouTube if you want to really watch somebody do it. It's easy. It's an easy thing to do. And if it's stuck, then you got to get out the pliers. I use vice grips that I can literally lock on there very carefully without breaking it. And you can pop it out usually that way. And if it's really tight coming out, I try to get a little sandpaper in there and either widen the cavity in the bridge, or I'll just take the saddle and put it sideways on a piece of sandpaper, and I'll just kind of do this and kind of make it a little thinner. That way, that works too, So that's another way to do it. But anyway, the crack. Now, it had a crack here, and it was pretty obvious. You can still kind of see it. I mean, a little bit, kind of, but it was very noticeable, and it was deep. I mean, it wasn't all the way through the wood, but you could see that it was not long before it might just make its way all the way through the top. So I went on YouTube and I looked around and I found the guy who was, fixing the crack on the top of the acoustic guitar. And what they did was very easy. It was a lot of fun. First of all, they took the blue tape, both sides of the crack, left it exposed, but blue tape on both sides. And then liquid super glue, and in a very tiny hold applicator, so that you're just putting a little bead, and you fill that crack with a bead, and you kind of let it, it'll drop in because it's liquid. Don't use the gel, use the liquid, okay? And then come back the other way with another bead. So the bead is actually sitting a little bit high in the crack, okay? Let it dry. And then the fun part is you pull out a straight-edged razor blade, with the one side, the one-sided razor blades, so you can actually hold one side of it. And because you've got the tape on both sides of your crack and you've got your razor blade, you can actually start blading off the top of the super glue and bringing it down and bringing it down and bringing it down. When you get it down pretty good and it's time to take off the tape, then take some of that tape and you actually add it to the razor blade. I put it just on the sharp corners. It's because you don't want the corners, you don't want to nick the top with one of the corners of the razor blade. So other people will they will kind of file the corners off to round them. That's a little bit more OCD than I am, but I've heard that that's how it's done. And so anyway, and then you just keep going and keep going and keep going until actually you get flush with the top. And then I just took a little bit of rubbing, warm gloss wipe on poly, and I just kind of wiped it on there. I might have done, I did some superfine wet sanding with like a 2000 grit before I did that. I did some wet sanding and I got it really smooth. You can't even feel it, which is nice. The tops on these guitars are they're kind of open pore, and so when I wiped on my warm gloss poly, it kind of filled in those pores, which I kind of like actually. So I think when I have a spare moment and nothing else to do, I'm probably gonna pull the strings and do the whole top in just a warm gloss wipe on poly, and just finish the whole thing off because I really like it. The open pour is okay, but this thing sounds, it doesn't need the open pour. We'll plug it in on the way out so you can hear a little of it through an amp. I will say this also, that I just noticed that there's a little something happening here at where the neck joins. There's a little tiny, very minimal pull or opening here. Which is usually a sign that the neck is pulling away. Now that may or may not be the case here. I don't know. I'm not going to do anything about it right now, except maybe tune it down a little bit. But a lot of tension. 12 strings, incredible amount of tension. And a great sound. And this has Bob Taylor's signature on the inside. Hi, Bob. And they're just sweet. I mean, you can't beat the tone. Use a light gauge string on here. I think I've got 10s on top. Mostly light. I got my second strings are maybe a little bit heavier. These are the second ones. The higher octave might be slightly heavier. It's a mixed set that I put on here. But go with the lights and you'll be all right. I think it's going to be a great guitar. Well, it is a great guitar. It's a Taylor that's well aged and plays great, sounds great, and it didn't cost a lot of money. And it was just, sweat equity, as they call it. Now I'm going to bring on another guitar. We're going to cut right here. And here's guitar number 2. Let's get in here. Oh, let me, before we go any further, I just want to say that the t-shirts are here, and they're black, white on black. This is the sweaty, or the hoodie, the sweatshirt. But the t-shirts are here. I'm just trying to figure out how to get them up on the site so I can sell them. I got a few for my most loyal fans. They're great. I got the heavy gauge, cotton. They're very well made. And if they're super popular, I'll get more. Why not? That's the logo right there. Yeah. So anyway, this is the second rescue. I bought this guitar. I was actually laying in hospital and recovering from some surgery that I had. I'm fine. Don't worry about it. But I was on Facebook Marketplace and I was looking for a deal, just something to cheer me up. And I saw this, and it was a Cortez, which is a 70s lawsuit era Japanese acoustic copy of a Gibson Dove. Okay, there's the Dove right there, see? And the listing said, oh, great shape, oh, great, beautiful guitar, belonged to my mother, she only played it on Sundays. And I was like, great. And the price was like, it was less than $100. And it was pretty far away, but I had a friend in the neighborhood over there in New Hampshire who, while I was laid up, he went and he got the guitar, met the guy, and I bought it sight unseen. And he shipped it on over, and it showed up, and I was like, what have I done? It was one of those moments where I realized that the actual instrument did not match the description of what the instrument was. I mean, it was a Cortez, but the neck was literally coming off. It was, you could have put, like a couple of quarters and a nickel down in the gap that was here. It was really something. And of course the strings were like 2 inches off the neck. The neck was like this, and I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do? I've never done a neck reset. This was 2.5 years ago now, okay? So I just chalked it up. It was not a lot of money. I just chalked it up. I just said, I'll put it over here and forget about it for a while. And I did. I forgot about it for about a year, maybe a little longer. And I was on Facebook, just kind of looking around and scoping them out and stuff, things to do and everything. And I came across this guy who had, it was called the $3 neck set, I'm like, oh, I had priced having a neck set done, and it was in the many hundreds of dollars, and I just didn't feel like spending that kind of money on this guitar. So I found this guy on YouTube who had the $3 neck set, and I'm like, I'll do it. I mean, I'll try it. Why not? So I did. And it worked. It worked. It was like magic. I mean, I can truthfully say I did not know what I was doing. I did not know what I was going to end up with. I did not know that the action on this thing was going to end up being virtually perfect. And, but how did I do it? Well, I watched the YouTube video very carefully. And I bought the materials, or I found the materials actually here that he said I needed. Strapping with the little ratchet on it, like where you tie down stuff on your car or something, and you have has a little ratchet, so and hooks on each end, and you can tie it down and then and really tighten it up. Okay, so one end of the first of all, tape. Okay, tape on the top, and I had like a cloth down here to protect the sound hole, and the the hooks. The first hook went here, and then the strapping came around the back and came up the front and then hooked in to the sound hole. So you had this like loop that started here at the top and went all the way around the back of the guitar, came out here and hooked here. Okay? And then you had put a little towel on the back of the guitar, and you had a little block of wood, and you put it under the ratchet. Okay, so you've got this ratchet back here, and you got this little block of wood, and it's sitting on that. Okay, and the concept is that you're going to, you're going to put some pressure on this thing and pull it back. Okay, now the other piece of it is, you have to. It's still glued. Okay, and of course this particular guitar, this neck had been. Someone had tried to fix it with super glue, which is like, or some kind of glue. I think it was super glue. And they just poured it in the cracks and tried to stop it from doing anything. What this guy on the YouTube recommended was you boil a big pot of water, okay, get it really boiling, and then turn it off, and then lay the guitar where the neck joint is over the top of the pot of steaming hot water, and then cover it with a towel. Okay, so I did. And it loosened it all up. That neck was like, I could go like ching, 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 ching with this thing. I could move it, okay? So then, the final piece of it was hide glue, which is what he recommended. And I dumped hide glue in, and I put it in through here. You can kind of still, you can't see it, but I put a bead under the block because the block had a little gap under it, okay, and then I put beads under here, and I got it all in as much as I could into the actual joint where the neck, the dovetail joint where the neck joins the body. And then once all that was glued up, okay, then we ratchet the strap. And that strap pulled at the top of the neck, and it's bracing, it's holding on here. And it brought the neck back, okay, it pulled the neck back into the gap and tightened it right up. And as you can see, I mean, you can see some glue, but you can see it's a tight, I mean, it was amazing. And then you just let it sit for like 3 or 4 days, which I did. And shockingly, I mean, look at the action on this thing. I mean, I could measure it for you, but I'll tell you right now, it's about as good as any acoustic guitar I've ever owned. The other thing I did, which I kind of regret, but I didn't know any better. It had a adjustable bridge, which I still have. I have it in a box here, and I took it out, and because it was plastic and everything, and I put some bone in here, filled this bridge with bone. You can see it's quite a bit of bone too. That's a lot of bone right there. And I had to I took out my rasp and I kind of brought down the rosewood bridge a little bit. I took some of the rosewood off. That's the part I regret. But it was sitting high because of the bridge, not because of the neck. And so here I am with a beautifully, playable, very inexpensive guitar. Now, I'm still not thrilled with the tone. It's soft, and I've been told that these guitars can be like that, that the Doves have a kind of a soft tone. And I haven't quite figured out yet how to liven it up. But it plays beautifully, it stays in tune. It still has the original tuners on it. It's about 50 years old. No cracks. And it's a really, if you want to call it a campfire guitar, it's a conversation piece campfire guitar. Has a story. Has no pickups in it, but and here it is. It's a rescue, and that's part of why I do this, is to kind of save these guitars. Either they find me, or I don't know quite how it works, but they show up here at my door, and I've had pretty good luck saving them, bringing them back, making them playable. Not just playable, but very enjoyable. I have a kind of a high bar because I'm a player, So anyway, with that, I want to say thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, all the new subscribers. I really appreciate it. Keep coming, and share these videos with your friends, and go back and look at some of the old ones. I think they're going to live on YouTube longer than I do, which is kind of interesting. He lived forever on YouTube. He was immortal. And keep your eye out for a project. Keep your eye out for a wayward guitar, desperately in need of a home. And who knows? You may be the rescue the damsel in distress guitar, and the guitar will never forget. Believe me, they will always forever appreciate the fact that you saved them from the junk heap. And I know this guitar really appreciates the fact that I saved it, because it just gives me great joy to play after being completely unplayable. All right, with that, take care. Peace, love. We'll see you next time. Thank you. Still ringing.